France and England in this second semi-final, and the English fans, they've come to party and they've come to cheer their side into the final for the first time since 1991. Galtier and Johnson. Johnson for England. The French aiming for their third World Cup final, England their second. Galtier saying that French rugby is a bit like the weather. It can be sunny and it can also be very cloudy. We've had 2 or 3 seasons here today at Telstra Stadium, but as Galtier said, after the rain there is always sunshine. We are looking for a patch of blue. He may have to wait till tomorrow. 34 years of age. This could well be his last international.
Their clashing cultures are reflected more in their rugby than anything else. The English, cautious and professional. The French, the flair, they take the risk. Will they get the benefit?
4 changes to the England side from the quarter-final against Wales. Woodman replacing Leonard. Hill back after a 5-week injury break. Cat at inside centre getting another life. He was missing from the original squad. And Lucy returning after a hamstring. And the French team will unchanged from the side that dismembered Ireland in Melbourne in the quarter-final. They have a hefty 553 test caps. Senior statesmen in the pack, former skippers Ibanez and Toulouse. Flanker Magna, his 71st international. And the skipper is Galtier. Kiwi Tony Marsh is the cornerstone in the French midfield. So the French and the English shoulder arms here as we stand by for the national anthems. Third in line to the British throne, Prince Harry is with us again this evening. Aaron Ordeke, the giant number 8, the marvellous athlete, just having some last-minute running repairs from the trainer. The England players taking off their tracksuit tops. Olivia Magna, who set up the upset victory over New Zealand in the semi-final at Twickenham in 1999, when he put Bernard Sell away after intercepting. And the 2 reserve benches, a lot of experience in the French forward replacements. Traille and Poitrenaud, 2 exciting youngsters. Jason Leonard, number 17, if he comes on tonight, will become the world's most capped player of all time for an individual country. And two playmakers in this England team tonight. Down at the touchline, Tim Horan.
Well, down in at ground level there you see Mike Catt. He is very key for the England side tonight. He has to share responsibility with Jonny Wilkinson. If Jonny Wilkinson gets caught in rucks, Mike Catt will take over.
And the 21-year-old Frederick Michalak into the side. He scored every way possible against Scotland in the pool matches. Try, conversion, penalty and field goal. He is a point-scoring machine.
Steve Thompson, Martin Johnson, Fabien Pelouse, former national skipper, Dave Ulrich, the kicking coach, and there's the man in the middle, Paddy O'Brien. Will he be the man refereeing on November 22 in a week's time in the World Cup final? The other referee in contention is Andre Watson, who was in charge 4 years ago, and Richard Hill is back, but he hasn't played for 5 weeks. It's a big ask for him. Martin Johnson, his last chance to win a World Cup. Death or glory for those ageing England forwards. And Serge Betsen, who's been the most dynamic back rower in this World Cup, certainly the most destructive, along with George Smith. Second semi-final, Michalak for France. Mike Catt immediately getting his hands on the ball, but not getting the touch. Brusque from fullback. Well wrapped up by Hill, who's into the game early. Gaultier now, leaving it for one of the back rowers. 10-metre line, England territory. Josion. Ibanez. France showing good ball retention early stages. Michalak again. Cohen was waiting back for the kick, which was awful. Back is there. Dawson got it away to Lucy.
Like a pea out of a pod. That pop from Dawson was a classic to get it wide and get England going forward.
So a very sharp reaction from the England scrum half. Now Greenwood. Lost it. He hesitated. Not a good start there for the England number 13, Tim Horan.
No, Will Greenwood, he hesitated. And that's what England can't do in this match. Look at Greenwood there, hesitated, looking for Johnson inside, and took the hit.
Pelouse didn't just try to tackle Greenwood, he went for the ball too and dislodged it. French scrum holds firm. Brusque coming through with Rougerie.
The scrum and line out so very important. What will it be? Dominance here. Got Australia home last night.
Well, I was speaking to a couple of the English reserves before they warmed up today, and they want to back their defence tonight. They hope that the French play with width. It's very slippery on the ground with the rain that's happened tonight, and they hope that their defence will get them through.
That's Ben Kay. The England side has trained at the Manly Sea Eagles home ground at Brookvale Oval, and Vickery on a little charge close to the ruck. Dawson happy to work away on the short side. Gaultier. That's Ben Cohen. Back cleared it to the backs. Another big tackle. Advantage here for France. And desperation from Lucy, who was taken high.
Well, there's a fair battle going on the two. Coming at it, Johnson pointing to his eyes. Dominici saying, I wouldn't get up there with the step ladder. How could it be me? Plenty of feeling.
Well, didn't the French backs come up quickly there?
Catt didn't know what hit him.
Tony Marsh lined him up and went bang. They moved up, umbrella defence. And here we see Dominici having a smile and a laugh. There's not too many players that can do that to Martin Johnson.
I thought at one stage there Johnson was going to say, how about a kiss, sweetie? Little Dominici with the dyed hair.
Well done, Matt Dawson putting pressure on Gaultier at the back of the scrum, forced the turnover for England. England's ball.
5 metres into French territory.
Heavy weight advantage for England. They'll need to make a difference. This front row of France is compelling. And they know it. Here it starts. One weakness has been the willingness of the English front row to go on with it in the scrum. And Ibanez, Krenka and Sylvain Marcanet will take them apart.
That's it, okay? Bloodman.
Ibanez had a little sly shot in that melee. Maybe found the nose of Vickery. The penalty goes to the French, but it was a low drive, an 8-man shove from the French scrum, which forced the England front row to pop up. They went low and then drove upward.
Well, it's Phil Vickery on the sideline and Jason Leonard on the field. What a wonderful opportunity. You can just see it. Here it goes on. Marcanet comes forward. Ibanez.
Isn't it great to see Jason Leonard coming onto the field for the world record test appearances?
Wilkinson is unloaded here. Down to the 22. This is Brusque. Just stabbing that one. If it goes too far, touch in goal, we go all the way back.
And there you can see how slippery the field is. The ball just skidding off the pitch and going dead.
Two brilliant kicks. Just raking field. We didn't see that in the first semi-final. Neither side looking to go long early. But it's on. Up front. Here Leonard coming to the unfamiliar tight head side of the scrum. No, he doesn't get the chance to pack down, but he gets his 112th cap. That's all it meant. The easiest cap he's ever earned, and now he's the world record holder. Look at that body. He used to be 6'4".
Here's Greenwood. Cohen from the left wing. And very short defence from Dominici. Betson towing ahead. Cat really was the last line there for England. The French causing all sorts of problems there. Mad dogs in a meat house.
Well, with the slippery ball, England have to stand a little bit deeper. There was good pressure by the French, and Betson put the pressure on.
It's nearly a trip here that he gets through. It's the soccer tackle. Went for the ball for the kick and hung it out there. You'd probably go straight to the penalty box in the round ball game.
Francis scrum backpedaling. A big shot there from England.
That's the reply you need. Great turnover. You've been confronted up in terms of the last clash they had, and then they've just given it back to them.
Trevor Woodman getting a little tap on the shoulder from his fellow front rowers. This is Wilkinson and Greenwood. And he was well grasped by Marcanet. So the front rowers getting very involved in attack and defence for France so far. And Rougerie scouting back. Oh no, play on, says the referee. It came off his knee. Off the knee. He let that one bounce for a couple of seconds too long.
Would you believe it? Comes down, he makes an absolute mess of it. He did let it bounce, too cool.
The crowd were booing because they felt it was a knock-on, but it looked to be a pretty good call from Paddy O'Brien. Stuart Dickinson, touch judge, far side. Arenodiki, pinched by Thompson. Referee spotted a knock-on by England.
Well, again, some concern on Woodward's face, as you can imagine. He knows how important early points are. Knows how crucial this scrum is.
Krenka getting a bit excited with Vickery.
It's on again in the front row.
Just a free kick here. This is Woodman. Dion coming in over the top. Wilkinson. Cat. And Vickery straight into Palouse. French had to get up quickly as Dawson was shaping for the drop goal to Wilkinson. This is Neil back. Wilkinson now on his right foot. He has done it, and first point for England. 3-0 in the 9th minute. Well, there, the beauty, Tim Horan, of being
Well, there's not too many.
by-footed.
There's not too many players in the world that can kick a right-footed field goal.
Telling for the French. They've turned over ball in their last 3 scrums, and that's great work from England, and they've got 3 points to show for it.
Well, the defence was waiting for the left foot attempt, but Wilkinson, being ambidextrous, was able to switch sides. So back, and Wilkinson not happy with that kick. He can normally get the same trajectory and distance on either boot.
Well, you could see Wilkinson just before. He shaped very early on for the field goal, but Dawson had a chance around the side of the ruck, and then Wilkinson set himself, wasn't in the right position, but said, I'll go either foot.
Betson held it brilliantly. Serge Betson! Did he get it down? He was short of the line. Then momentum carried him over. Was he able to ground the ball?
Well, the television match official is
Grounding only by blue.
Queensland and Australian referee Andrew Cole. He did pull up short. The arm rolled it over. It'll be close. What a brilliant break from the line out. He's lunged for it, dropped short. Agonisingly close. There is downward pressure, but was his arm on it, or was it an English one in Richard Hill?
Well, Jason Robertson came from nowhere, and that looks like try time for France.
Well, I'd say he's lost it, and it's Hill's arm that forced it, but Andrew Cole will have to decide.
He's holding on tight to his chest. And did he get the downward pressure?
Well, it's a valiant effort by Richard Hill.
The other point is that the number 6 is not allowed to leave his feet like that in going into effect the tackle.
Betson was carrying it in his left hand. It goes down, but I think his right hand comes over, as Hills does, and both are on it. You watch here, there's Betson's hand. And then Hill comes down. You'll see the hand through the gap on top of the green stripe of the Gilbert ball. And I think you've got to say that's a try, unless it went forward when he transferred it from his left hand.
And because Hill was diving for the ball there and not trying to dive on the player, he is entitled to leave his feet.
And it's wonderful contrast. The different colours of these two players make it quite easy with the ball underneath. Betson, I think, has control.
And it's so important in these occasions as well, such a big occasion, a World Cup semi-final, to have these video referees.
We're taking a long time to extract a result here from Andrew Cole.
Yes, give me a decision. Are we saying he scored a try? Just confirm it is a try. Thanks, Polly.
Serge Betson, the Biarritz bombshell, gets the first 5-pointer of the second semi-final.
Great work. Look, they missed in the line out. The gap opened up. And this guy, Ken Motor, called Le Secateur, the Reaper. He's the one that cleans them out from down low. Known for his defence. This, a brilliant try.
Make it Le Secateur Mal, the Grim Reaper. Bernard Laporte, le Professeur. Bravo. Michalak, leading point scorer in the tournament. He slots them from everywhere, this guy. And it's France in the lead by 7-3.
Well, it was an overthrow by England. They were looking for Delalio, but Serge Betson couldn't believe his luck.
And just a delayed reaction from Richard Hill at the back of the line out, and that's not surprising when you consider how long he's been out. away from the match time. He's had just 60 minutes. That was knocked on by an offside England player, namely the skipper. Referee saying you have to stay bound.
And quick to get onto him, Paddy O'Brien. Martin Johnson does it. Once he lets go, he is still held on by his right hand. He believes he's bound and can reach through after the halfback picks it up. And there's an argument that'd be interesting having on the field.
Well, Martin Johnson is one of the best referees going around at the moment.
And from your posse on the touchline, Tim Horan, how strong is that drizzle?
Well, it's starting to actually really pour with rain now. I think I need my flippers soon, so the handling really comes into a factor.
Olivier Magna at the back. Michalak, here they come. Josian, lost ahead. Cohen now. And you can see from the baseball slides of the players, the surface getting very greasy.
Well, that'll favour straight runners. And I think that time that's what Michalak was trying to do, get the ball in behind. And Josian had done all the hard work and just pulling it in. It looked as though he was casual at the last minute. Straight running, bringing the player back inside will trap people on this surface.
Terrific pressure again from the French scrum. So it's a ding-dong go in that set piece, and Delalio having to fight very hard to retrieve the situation. Here's Wilkinson. Arenordiki came through prematurely. England calling for the penalty, but the referee said no, play on, it didn't interfere. Brust coming through here. And that's Lucy. Courage under fire. So Wilkinson hugging the touchline and making sure this time 10 from halfway.
Well, you can see the French, they've got a balanced game plan. Usually in this tournament they've been counter-attacking at every opportunity, but with the rain coming down now, Bruce choose to put the ball up high in front of his forwards, and they've got to throw the line out about 45 metres out.
Dion with the black headgear. Ibanez, who was the skipper at the World Cup 4 years ago.
He's still attached so long as he's got his shoulders on and can stay there. It's great work in front of him by Betson and also Krenka.
Brilliant control by France. Michalak, Josian, Rougerie went without it. Greenwood toes ahead. Michalak first there. Stepped beautifully. And Delalio collared him, literally. 7 from halfway. Tony Marsh making a mess of it. Here's Betson. A few high shots coming in from both sides. And Galtier into open territory. Here comes Rougerie. Robinson just shadows it over the touchline.
Well, you can see the importance of both teams. They know they have to play the game at the other end of the field. Keep the ball in front of their forwards.
The kicking so far from both teams has been poor. And unless you can kick better than they've been doing, the suggestion is you don't.
Quite a strong breeze favouring the French on this side of the field. England now come back with a driving maul, but Vickery managed to keep it in play. Dawson links up with Wilkinson. Here's Robinson. He's met 3 or 4 metres behind the advantage line. Dawson. Penalty for using one of your teammates as a shield. Obstruction is the ruling.
Delalio dumbfounded. Getting a gobful from Martin Johnson. And you can just see him dancing around the man.
Well, that's a tough penalty. Didn't impede the defender at all. Delalio, number 8 for England.
It's 7-3 in favour of France with the kick to come. I agree with you, Tim. I think it was a very tough penalty there. It was Delalio was standing there. He wasn't deliberately obstructing. It was just an accidental situation.
Well, so far it's been the pressure of Arenordiki, Magna and Betson getting up quick off the blocks and putting the pressure on the inside backs of England.
Michalak with a sublime first attempted goal. What can he do here? It'll be double figures if successful. And he's missed one of his easier kicks in the tournament. A surprise. He stabbed at it, trying to steer it through.
His 28 points against Scotland was a record for France in Rugby World Cup. Bernard Laporte masticating. Wouldn't you like to be that little bit of gum there? He's getting a horrible workout.
Nicolas Brusque, spiral torpedo. Again, he's got to be careful this doesn't go too far, but that was well weighted. And Robinson only has to force this behind the 22 or behind the goal line, and we come back to the 22 for the drop kick restart.
Well, you'd think in these conditions, with the rain starting to get a little bit heavier, that would favour the England pack. They can keep it closer. They've got an option, plan B or plan A.
Johnson went high, lost there by England, and it was Woodman that time.
Both teams have failed to get past 3 phases, and I think that's really stifling them. Neither team being able to use any width or any of the people that can make a difference out wide.
And Chris, the pressure coming from England's scrum there, as it's been thrust and parry from both scrums so far.
Well, it must have been a decision to go with Woodman and not Lennon, whose scrummaging was great on tour.
Wilkinson. Solid running from Greenwoods. Mike Catt straight to Brusque again, who was in lovely position and plenty of time to size up the touchline. So Mike Catt's kicks that came off so superbly at Suncorp, giving no pressure at all there to Brusque, who's helped himself to huge yardage.
We can see Wilkinson not taking those longer kicks, chopping and changing with Mike Catt, but Brusque won that battle.
Ben Kay, number 5. Woodman comes in. Sacking was the call there. Because there was no more formed, you can pull the player down once he's caught the ball. Ben Cohen upended. Ari Nordicki. Referee spotted some offside.
Yeah,
Serge Betson.
Good call, Paddy O'Brien. They were offside the ruck before. Betson and Harry Nordicki, the 6 and the 8 for France. Offside, must stay behind the last man's feet.
Really attempting to upset the ball receivers. Just firing out of the blocks a bit early.
Betson used to give so many penalties away that he was dropped from the French team, and was so distressed that he went to see a psychiatrist to correct the problem. Now he's one of the least penalised players in the French team.
Well, opportunity now for England to start getting into their patterns of play, get back to the structure, but they lose a line-out turnover.
Delalio couldn't hold on, and here's Marsh and Dominici, the stepper, caught from behind by Wilkinson. Martin Johnson coming in on the side. He was feeling the ball was out, but just a little rush of blood there from the England skipper.
You can't argue that toss. He saw the ball and went for it.
Another chance for Michalak as France lead by 7-3.
Great line out. Supposed to go to Delalio and bounces free for Betson. And it really put the English at risk. They were skinny out wide.
A real insight, I think, with that last penalty, just how much is at stake here, but it does need composure from the skipper. And Michalak now, a better strike, but he's pushed it out to the right. So the normally reliable sharpshooter, Frederic Michalak, has missed 2. Charge down by Marsh. Ibanez to Betson. Towed ahead there by Johnson. And Arianordaki, 10-metre line, England territory. Michalak guiding it across the pitch. Here comes Rougerie, out on the full.
Well, right option, didn't hit it too far out on the full, but Rougerie and Brusque was coming through, putting the ball in behind Ben Cohen. Ben Cohen was defending fairly tight, and there was room and space.
That's the kick, Buddha, that he did last week against Ireland, and it bounced up on the point for Arianordaki. This is Mike Katz. Two men waiting for him, including Betson.
Getting good support, but they've got to get continuity. Just frivolous running and passing, as you can see from Wilkinson. It was a shocker. He threw it like a cardboard box.
Well, the ball will be like a cake of soap out there at the moment, and Wilkinson is trying to create something. He's waiting for hole runners. He's waiting for runners to come off him and running into holes, but they're not working at the moment.
So some early concerns for this England team, who've conceded penalties and just been a little scatty under pressure. But the slippery ball, the drizzle and the damp field causing problems for handling on both sides. Phil Vickery in the headgear on this side. Galtier coming through to really harass his opposite. Lucy. Cat got it away to Robinson. Referee says it was a bit of a trip there. He flung out his knee. Dominici's doing a tiptoe on one leg, but it's going to be a penalty.
Well, it looked like it was accidental, but Jason Robinson had a book out called Finding My Feet.
Paddy's gone to the pocket, Tim.
Yeah.
Well, 10 yellow cards he's given in all Rugby World Cups. 4 so far this one. And we saw Betson, and you can't drag a lazy leg.
Well, I take it back. Was not accidental. Clive Woodward.
Clive saying send him off.
No doubt in Clive's mind, and it hurt. When you drag the leg like that, it's fully extended.
Dominici now to face the music from Paddy O'Brien. He'll hobble into the sin bin. 10-minute absence for the winger. And Tim Horan, I hope you've got your umbrella down there.
Well, it's absolutely pouring now, and you know, with the score so close, this comes into both kickers. Wilkinson, big decision from Jonny Wilkinson here, whether he goes for touch or goes for goal. And he's taken the option to go for goal, and there you see poor old Jason Robinson.
France ahead by 4, but the kick to come. So Jonny Wilkinson, 6 metres in from this touchline. It's a monster kick in these conditions. You would say the England supporters here are outnumbering the French by about 750 to 1.
Snowflakes look like they've fallen here along with this rain. The white and red of England everywhere.
Can he produce some manna from heaven here? Distance is not there. Brusque for the far touchline. Quick line out from back. Here's Lucy. Enterprise from England as the heavy rain continues. Even the visibility poor now. 10-metre line, French territory. Delalio. Flung back in the tackle by Palouse. That's Richard Hill. Back to where they started. Dawson to Katz. Kneel back and put a foot on the touchline. Good covering tackle there by Tony Marsh.
Delalio's going to have to look at his game. He's going to have to generate more forward power. Needs to get the ball in front of his forward pack. And again, Ben Kay gets sent back by the referee.
Arenordaki again. That's his third line-out win. Galtier. Left foot kick is well weighted again. Cohen took his eye off the ball. He had a look at the French players coming through, but it went backwards. That was the referee's ruling. And Nicolas Brusque happy to play it down in opposition territory in these slippery conditions. Wilkinson now can take it over halfway. And he's done it, but it was a lucky dip bonus.
Well, Jonny Wilkinson, he didn't hit it that well, but he got the result that he wanted. He had plenty of time to size the option up. And Arenordaki looked like he got a foot to it, but he didn't, and it's still the French throw to the line out.
Poor kick, lazy option in defence. The result is France are deep in their own territory.
Arenordaki again. Ibanez at the back, and the French are going to try and spear ahead here. Galtier from inside his 22. Robinson underneath. 10-metre line, England territory. Lucy. Straight to Michalak. Rougerie here. Michalak wanting to bounce it inside the touchline, and Wilkinson. Better angle for Mike Catt with the prodigious boots. That's a very good net result for the men in white.
Oh, great kick, Mike Catt. And it's important tonight that he takes responsibility with Jonny Wilkinson. Wilkinson going back and Catt, both very big kickers of the ball, and just inside his 22. But the ball bounces out.
He's been put in as a nanny and doing a very good job of it for Jonny Wilkinson.
Brusque again. And he's kicked that one well and truly into the England supporters.
Great variety in the French line-out, using a number of players, whereas England is just using their two main jumpers in Kay and also Martin Johnson. Let's see if they vary it here. They went to Delalio once, he couldn't pull it in.
Well, with Dominici off the field, Olivier Magniers playing on the left wing.
Thrown slightly on England's side, but referee letting that one go.
So France will be one short in the scrum. Dominici off the field, Magnier on the left wing. Wonder how many times he's played out there.
Break. Both heads, wait for me.
5 minutes still to go for Dominici in the sin bin. He was injured when he incurred the penalty. So we'll just keep an eye on him through Tim Horan.
Finding. Touch judge. Hurt and hold. Game.
Very ferocious engagement that time. Galtier to Delalio. A Cumberland throw. Wilkinson. They're pouring through. Catt's there first. Brusque. It went back. And that man's offside. It wasn't a knock on. He lost it backwards. Then the ball bounced forward to a man who was in front of Brusque, Josian, and this kick out in front.
He had to take that ball. The advantage was being played back from a previous infringement. By not taking it, he's left it wide open for Wilkinson in front.
Wilkinson to line up at 7-3 to France.
Well, this is a better position for Jonny Wilkinson, right in front of the post.
No kick easy in these treacherous conditions. "30 metres out in front of the posts. The maestro closes the gap to just 1 point France with their noses in front.
It's taken a lot of time to get those extra points, England. Michalak missing with a couple, and they've really told.
Delalio really wanting to get into the game. Matt Dawson and Mike Cadogan. Well, he was the man who was Lomu'd in the semi-final Rugby World Cup 1995 when he became Jonah's doormat.
Well, in these conditions, it's all about good field position. So far, the superior kicking game's been pretty balanced.
Good defensive line out there from England, and it was good work by Martin Johnson.
They pressured the French to go to the front to secure ball, but the firmness of the throw and the torpedo throw meant that Toulouse just couldn't hold on to it. It is like a greasy pig at the moment, the ball.
Free kick here to France. It was an incorrect feed.
Oh,
shoulder there from Wilkinson on Aranordiki. No use of the arms. Josion! He's as big as a number 8. England have to roll away. Low pass. Marsh and Rougerie. Cohen, I think, got his hand on it first. Back to the 22.
Clever play. Tony Marsh keeping the ball in front. Difficult conditions. Ben Cohen had to turn.
It was a photo finish. Good call by the referee, though, here, Buddha.
It was a great call. Touch judge knew that it was still playable. He was stationary on this side. Rougerie looks up and gets no hearing.
Lost backwards by the French. Aranordiki again got a hand on it. We've called his name a lot tonight. He's been very busy and very constructive. But the less said about that kick, the better. Back was there, so was Dawson, and now Wilkinson. Excellent pass to the ever-supporting Richard Hill. Now Cohen. Tony Marsh, the tackler. They're over halfway. England on a roll here. This is Rougerie. No touch. Lucy from fullback. Setting it up again. 38 metres out. They continue to work the short side as Neil Back was lurking out there.
Still they can't put it together. And this weather really affecting decision-making, players slipping as they change direction, and they can't get the continuity sufficient to mount an attack.
Well, it wasn't the right option there by Matt Dawson. They've played the short side a couple of times, needed to go open.
Rougerie with a shoulder problem here. Remember, Dominici is still off the pitch, and he may not be returning depending on that leg injury he incurred. It looks as though he's got a heavy ice pack on the right knee. It's still England trailing 7-6.
Well, Josh Lucy just slipping there, counter-attacking. England know they have to control the ball.
Ibanez just outside the French 22. And Aranordiki there was interfered with whilst he was in the air. Well, there were players all over Aranordiki there. The referee spotting a knock on. Martin Johnson is a pass master in that line-out area. And number 22, Patronneau, coming on here.
And that looks like a replacement for Dominici, who injured his knee in the lazy leg tackle.
So Brusque is going to stay at fullback, and Patronneau at the moment is on the left wing. France conceding just 3 points during Dominici's sin binning. Set up again by Aranordiki. Such a focal point in the Welsh forward pack. And the French have been careful, where possible, to kick the ball into the crowd, because England's keen to have a quick line-out throw. You can only do that if it's with the same ball and hasn't been touched by anyone else.
Well, all across Asia, expats of all different countries, but particularly English and French, watching this game will be riveted. Neither side has yet put their stamp on it. 1 point separates them well into the first half, and it's been a real brawl for the ball.
Jolting defence from England to dislodge that ball from the French number 8. This is Phil Vickery. All 125 kilograms of him. So we're closing on half-time in the 35th minute. Rain still sheeting down. And there, that 8-man shove again from the French as Delalio surges ahead. No one wants it for England. There was no scrum half there. Some alert work from Richard Hill.
Good scrapping behind the play as well.
Referee spotted some offsides. I think it was Betson again who flew out of the blocks. England have the advantage, but they're wanting to try and take advantage here themselves. Here's Greenwood. Through the tackle of Ibanez. That's Woodman. And there's the drive by Ibanez.
Well, England building to 6 or 7 phases. They weren't really getting across the advantage line. They're taking the ball too deep. And the French, that allows the French defence to move up and tackle them behind the advantage line.
It's 38 metres out from the French goal line. This is a huge arm wrestle at Telstra Stadium, with the winner to face Australia in 6 days' time in the Rugby World Cup final.
So much more possession for Jonny Wilkinson than Michalak.
Kay managed to paddle that one down as Katz takes on Michalak. Back! Clean through! England with their chance. Richard Hill to Dawson. Inside ball for Woodman. It went backwards. France back in possession. And it's Poitrenaud, who was an acting fullback there, clearing a very dangerous situation.
Well, England starting to build now, starting to lift. Neil back, spotted a gap, looked up. The French defence had spread out, and Georgian makes a last-ditch tackle. And then Trevor Woodman gets hammered by Manier, turnover, but the English still on attack.
Martin Johnson positions himself beautifully.
And again, that man can be pulled down because there's only one Frenchman, and it's like a tackle. He's pulling the man with the ball to ground, so long as he's not, they don't form a maul before it. Now the scraps on for the ball.
So it's at the back. It's Ben Kay. They were waiting for him. Aranordiki. England must hold on here. Wilkinson, another right foot drop kick. He's second of the match, and it's England in the lead.
How good is Jonny Wilkinson? Off the right boot. He's a left-footed kicker. That's his second field goal off his right foot and puts England ahead.
Sheer opportunism. They got close. Why not take the points and start again? That's the way to get your near stalling scoreline ticking over, and applauded by all on the bench.
His mentor and boss at Newcastle, Rob Andrew, is here in the crowd this evening. He's the man who sent Australia packing at the '95 World Cup in the quarterfinal with that last-minute drop goal.
Interesting to see also Gordon through the week. Rob Andrews spent about an hour and a half with Jonny Wilkinson when he arrived from England, and he said, just don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Poitrenaud following. And note the positioning there of Wilkinson. He turned his body so he was facing the goal line and allowing no chance of the ball to be lost forward.
Can we ever forget Yanni de Beer kicking 5 in Paris against England to knock them out? And Jonny Wilkinson today now has an opportunity to go somewhere close. Called it out, Mark. You don't have to be stable on the ground as you used to in the old days. In the air's okay, but you must ask for the fair catch.
Brusque then is playing on the left wing. Poitrenaud has gone to fullback. But those two have been alternating. Manya couldn't hold on, Vickery could. Picked up by Johnson. He was so powerful there. Dawson took it ahead and back is now at scrum half.
And that's what England are very good at. Keeping the ball close, keeping it tight. Delalio, then Johnson.
Paddy O'Brien talking there, and Matt Dawson pointing to a big gash in his head.
It's an opportune time for Wilkinson to set his radar for the goalposts. Injury time in this second half, some stitching required for Matt Dawson. It's France trailing now by 2, but shortly it could be 5. Wilkinson about 15 metres off centre.
Well, even though he's about 42 metres out, there's a fairly stiff breeze now into his face. This is a long kick for Wilkinson.
He pulled up short from a little further out, another 6 or 7 metres. So this is one that could even hit the crossbar. Distance not a problem. He makes it look easy, and what a telling strike on the half-time whistle as England claws their way to a 5-point lead in what has been a war of attrition here at Telstra Stadium. The rain not letting up at Telstra Stadium, and England not letting up in that second quarter as they turned a 3-7 deficit into a 12-7 lead. Jonny Wilkinson 12, France 7. Wilkinson with a couple of penalties and 2 drops. And the players shortly to return to the field here as Tim Horan is on the touchline and Chris Handy with me in commentary.
Well, it's backs to the wall for France. Time to really aim up. They haven't given it a go. They haven't had the possession and certainly haven't contested at ruck and maul.
The French have returned. They've changed into fresh jerseys. England have fresh jerseys and shorts. They've obviously got a bigger budget. But you'd have to say that the French have turned our culture on its head, because they've taken over Bondi and sent the Kiwis packing to Melbourne.
And Rafael Ibanez has raced off the field. I don't think his all one piece fitting gear is together. And he's raced off for a gear change. I don't know what the referee's going to do if he doesn't get back on in time. Galtier, their 34-year-old captain, to the sideline.
Tim Horan, the effect of these conditions in the second half, are they going to be favouring England now?
Well, the wind is a little bit behind England now. It's still swirling, but the rain hasn't let up. And I bet Clive Woodward would have instructed his England team to keep it tight, to play it down the other end of the field, and wait to see Lawrence Delelio, Johnson, Vickery, Thompson. They'll keep it close. They'll keep the ball off the ground, and they'll march down the other end of the field.
Ibanez has returned. Aaron Adorque could not hold on, and it's England immediately in possession. And one telling statistic is that they have dominated at the breakdown.
52 ruck and maul wins to England, 15 to France.
This is a very nasty one for Patronneau. But you won't see a better take than that under heavy pressure, and they counter. Josion almost to halfway.
It was a clean, clear tackle. He has to release the ball. And Josion, I think maybe his lack of experience, he was never going to beat the two players for pace. But this man, Poitrenaud, who came on for Dominici when he went off injured, is a touch of class. It's a shame it can't be advanced.
Well, Jason Robertson, number 14 there for England, did well staying on his feet, getting his hands on the ball. And here we see Martin Johnson taking the option for Jonny Wilkinson to go for 3 points. It's a long way out, but he hit the last one sweetly.
This would take his personal tally and England's total to 15. Jonny Wilkinson with the best success rate in the tournament. He's up to 86%. England team, if successful in this game, will receive a £500,000 bonus for the squad. Distance his problem here, and also the accuracy.
Well, England will still be happy with that. They're still down in the French territory, and I'm sure Clive Woodward would have instructed his team to stay there at half-time, but England are just happy to chip away for a win.
Clive Woodward not worried about the style of England's performance, as Delelio is brought down by Betson on halfway. He says, we're not Torvill and Dean. We're not here for marks out of 10. We're here to win a game of rugby, and they're doing a pretty good job of it at the moment, leading 12-7. Here's Wilkinson. That one's gone a little too far. Poitrenaud again. He's a class act, this young fullback, coming on as a replacement, and that could prove to be a blessing for France. He really does like to generate things from the last line. Michalak's kick. Excellent skill from Dawson, and now Lucy looking for the far touchline. That one veering back infield. And Josion, good pressure there from the hooker, Steve Thompson.
Well, England winning that kicking duel, and they're still down in the French's half. It's important now. Look for Johnson. Do they go short in the line out, or do they go long? Look at Johnson getting his side in, calming them down, going through the call. What are we going to do? Do we stay on our feet and roll them all?
Absolutely. In these conditions, you'd do that and take Wilkinson closer. Realistically, you wouldn't chance the ball in the hands of the backs at this stage. You'd get some more dominance and then release it.
Not straight.
Not straight. Scrum blue.
Desperately trying to get ball from the line out. They're not doing it that way. Delelio not having one of his better games.
Also, Steve Thompson being put under pressure. Going long in the line out in these conditions is not a good idea.
Arenodiki for Gaultier, but it's just scrambling resistance from the French.
That's a massive kick. Nicolas Bruce. 5 metres behind his 22, and he finds touch 10 metres inside the English territory. French win the line out.
Michalak. This is Josion. Jonny Wilkinson underneath.
Off the street, come up. Off your feet. You must be up. You're off your feet.
Mike Catt penalised, handling the ball on the ground. Now Michalak, he's going to have a shot at goal as Mike Catt went down to his knees there and went on with it. Michalak lining up. It's England by 5 at Telstra Stadium. Jonny Wilkinson kicked one from an identical spot just before half-time. These are the kicks that lift a side a couple of notches. When there's 5 points deficit, this puts you right back in contact, in the face of your opponents. He had the distance, but Michalak misses with his third shot, so he has 1 from 4. And there's an unforced error from Manya, of all people. He just lost that ball going straight down through the breadbasket.
So suddenly all of Bernard Laporte's heroes have turned to water. Michalak, been such a tower of strength in the pool matches, and also Manya, the most experienced in the pack.
Wilkinson, and a man over, but it was juggled there by Catt. Delalio driven back in the tackle by Josion. Wilkinson and Thompson. Hammered. England flop over there. Ben Cohen trying to get involved. Serge Batsman being called out here.
Captain. The last penalty in the first half, and now this one, he must roll away. Next time, he's going. Okay, thank you.
Relief in the end for Batson, who thought he might have been spending some time in the bin, but he's making no effort to roll away there.
His left arm is pinned underneath Delalio. Sometimes a bit hard, but you've got to at least make it appear to the referee that you're trying to release the ball carrier.
Now Steve Thompson, the hooker for England, he gets the ball, he'll wipe it down with a towel because it's very important. His last throw wasn't straight. Can he get this one on the dollar?
Pinched. Galtier and Bruce. And France again take it away from the red zone. Bruce playing on the left wing, looking for more metres there, but still not a bad result. Olivia Manya jumping in front there of Ben Kay. Johnson with the rebound. Ben Cohen, well read there by Marsh. This is back. 38 metres out from the French goal line. And prematurely there was Thion. We saw Martin Johnson do it in the first half. And now the French losing the plot.
They were sucking. They thought the ball was going to come out and the player rejoined and bridged over it, thus extending it offside.
Wilkinson to line up again here, aiming to increase the lead to 8 points. Have to say this is straightforward for a man of this class, even in these conditions. Master goal kicker. He lives with his brother Mark at home, and Mum still does the washing. You wouldn't read about it. Pressure. Clive Woodward, disbelief. 5-point advantage for England.
Still nothing in it. Both sides need to be able to pick up the pace, but certainly France. And maybe if they were to chance their hand a bit more, it might catch England by surprise. Certainly going down the touches isn't helping their cause.
Wilkinson for Katz, who's just tried to crash it up, but been unable to make headway. Delalio dispossessed. Is there a counter on here for Poitrenaud? Trying to link up with Brusque. Robinson back. And that's Greenwood. England securing it. Good work by Martin Johnson. And we're just short of halfway. England territory.
Well, Poitrenaud, he knows that he has to play the ball down the other end of the territory. Would have been great to counter-attack. Had a second thought.
You just feel the team is waiting for that spark, for that little bit of flair, to take the risk, have a crack.
Betson then to Krenka. Delalio with Richard Hill, trying to stem the tide. And Krenka number 1 at the back of the maul. Galtier just directing traffic.
Well, Galtier saying to his forward pack, they're not all committed. The English forwards aren't committed. Keep it forward. Stay on your feet.
Martin Johnson came right through the middle of it and is okay.
Michalak then. It's only gained 10 metres. An awful kick. England come away. And they have a chance to send play back into French territory here. Mike Katz. A tester. Bouncing nicely for Brusque.
Well, England will be happy with that. Mike Catt taking the initiative, making sure the ball stays in the French territory, because any mistake by the French will be 3 points.
Martin Johnson allowed to go on with the job there. He was wedged in between, so I guess the referee saying he was bound around his torso. England lucky to get away with that one. Not taken cleanly. Wilkinson across here for Cohen. Cohen flipped it back. Poitrenaud. And the referee has seen something behind the play on Jonny Wilkinson.
He was flat, absolutely creamed, still lying flat on his face, sucking in the big ones. He got a beauty.
This could be curtains for Serge Betson. There's a point where you can only have so many lives.
Serge Betson, silly play. Not only he's let himself down, but he's let the whole of his French team down. And could that be the turning point in this game?
Got to be able to pull out, and that hurt. It really caved in the hip of Wilkinson, and there'd be some concern for him. Betson is able to slide past the front of him.
Very fine line. Once you're committed to the tackle there and you're airborne, it's difficult to pull out. But the referee not satisfied, and that could well be a mortal blow for the French team. Wilkinson says, I'm directing my attention at the goalposts, so he gets another opportunity. It's England ahead by 12-7. "15 metres in on the 22. Jonny Wilkinson has missed 3 shots, so too Michalak. But he really has to nail this one for his side, just to reward all of England's pressure in this second half. Affirmative. England by 8. 55th minute.
Well, how important is that kick for England as the rain continues? England away now by 8 points. French must score, and must score in the next 5 or 10 minutes if they're a chance in this semi-final.
They've got to restructure the way that they're playing this. Yes, pressure England, but also try and create some opportunities. When they've got the ball in hand, they can't kick it away.
England's juggernauts slipping into overdrive.
And look at number 4 for England, Martin Johnson there, standing up. The captain, he's played, it's his 82nd test match, and he's taking control of this game now for England.
It wasn't a maul, so it was allowed to be pulled down. And Mike Catt getting only 10 or 15 metres there. So England not taking advantage. France needing to make some sort of statements. But another man down requiring attention, Palus.
One wonders whether Josion is game enough outside Michalak to really take on this English line. He's looked a little tentative.
Well, he gets his chance here, but not with that sort of delivery from the forwards. It was sloppy ball for Galtier. Now it's a maul. If they don't get it out of here, it'll be a turnover.
You can see Mike Catt in the middle, Jonny Wilkinson. They're trying to keep the ball up and keep it still. Number 12, Mike Catt, has got his hands on the ball.
I don't think they're going to win this one. Expert play there from the England forwards.
Look at that, Leicester's best. And Catt as well, the boy from Bath. Crenker down on his hands and knees. Hard work, Toulouse strong with it in the middle of the pack.
It was the strength also of Mike Catt and Jonny Wilkinson. Ibanez has had a knock on the Scot. It's England 15-7.
Well, just a little bit of inexperience. You can see Steve Thompson straight in the back of Crenker.
No.
24 minutes remaining in the match. England eyeing this spot against Australia in the final with an 8-point advantage. No offside there against Galtier. Rougerie. And that's a forgettable kick, a terrible kick. The French are just not thinking at the moment. There was no call of support. He was reluctant to try and run the ball in the greasy conditions. And now England to mount another attack. Almost to the 22.
And England will try and march this as close as they can to the French goal line. They must stay on their feet.
And watch Wilkinson off it. They're getting good resistance from France, who are coming back. Now the breakout, he's isolated back.
Galtier was the tackler. Wilkinson sizing up another drop goal. That's a hat-trick. Wilkinson 18, France 7. 3 drops in a row for Clive and his England team and their number 10.
Well, Wilkinson, he was going to go off the right. There was pressure coming from Michalak, and then he goes off his natural left foot and is straight through the middle.
Since the time of Hugo Porter and then again Gianni De Beer, have I seen such dexterity in being able to pot goals, go onto 1 foot back and still be able to slot it through.
Still 5 more minutes in the sin bin for Serge Batson. And the French have conceded 6 points with players in the sin bin.
Well, there's still 21 minutes left in this match. I'm sure the Wallabies will be watching this match in their Wallaby camp at Coffs Harbour. Will it be an England-Australian final in 6 days' time?
England creeping all the time. It's closer and closer. Ben Kay, somebody who moves right across as soon as the ball is about to leave the hand of the thrower.
Aaron Ordeke again. That's his 6th line-out win. The number 8 has certainly been one of France's best, but these conditions have been tailor-made for the heavyweight England tight 5. So well complemented by the back row. One of the really quiet but constructive achievers tonight has been Neil Back, playing a little looser, and you have to join from behind the last beats.
France have got to go on with it quickly. Go down the line and then try and pick up the pace. They force the error.
Well, Fabien Galtier saying we want 3 points. Michalak needs to keep ticking the points away for the French.
Not a lot of confidence in the French line-out with the slippery ball. But it's not an easy kick. It's right at the limit of his range as Serge Betsen ponders the last quarter of the game. He celebrated his 21st birthday during this Rugby World Cup. He was a scrum half on France's tour of Australia last year. No distance again. And Mike Katz unleashing to Aaron Ordeke. Taking it over halfway, Ben Kay was the tackler. Now Michalak. Seen nothing of him in attack.
Stop.
And it's been pinched by Delalio. Somehow Wilkinson held onto that ball. Wasn't a good pass from his scrum half. Patroneau. Dawson underneath. On his chest. Well, the Brisbane Lions would be proud of that one. England have thrown it through their legs straight over the touchline.
Good driving from the French pack. Forced the error, but now they've got to use it. They've just not been able to get from set piece into any cohesive move.
Olivier Milou, number 17, coming on for Jean-Jacques Krenker. So fresh legs in the front row for the French team. But England 18-7. They're just grinding down the men in blue. 7 from halfway. Deplorable conditions at Telstra for this second semi-final. And all of those French players were offside in front of the kicker. It's another penalty. And that's a sign of a demoralised team. A team that's clearly not thinking about their responsibility. If you're in front of the kicker, you've got to get outside that 10-metre line.
Well, it was an ordinary kick by Michalak. And the French, their heads drop. The crowd boo as Wilkinson takes his opportunity to take another 3 points, but they don't care, the English. They just want to win and get to next weekend's final.
18-7. Again, over 80,000 fans, predominantly English. The rain is sheeting in over the left shoulder of Jonny Wilkinson.
Look at the concentration of Wilkinson, looking up through the post.
Visualises the fate of this ball. Safely through. And the royal family high fives with Mrs. Woodward. 21-7.
Nine points scored so far. Well, Serge Betsen's been in the sin bin. There's an ugly tackle on Wilkinson, and he's made him pay.
Yeah, big decision here. Michalak being replaced by Mercier.
Well, his kicking in general play has been poor. He's not being able to get the range for his kicks. It's a good replacement by Bernard Laporte.
Well, it certainly wasn't Michalak's night, and he was all at sea in these very damp conditions. Neil Back hasn't been, though. He's been a rock in the England back row and really revelled in the going. And that right boot of Mike Catt again, putting the French back on their heels. 14-point advantage for England. They are now looking in very good shape for that World Cup final berth.
Looking for the call. Ibanez, difficult conditions. And Johnson, it's Kay. Beats him in the middle.
Steve Thompson came round for the rebound. Towering kick here for Brusque. And excellent discipline again from England and the tacklers. Merceron just on the field. Did a pretty good job. And getting the touch 10 from halfway.
Well, Nicolas Brusque safe under the high ball, but it was the pressure from England coming through. Will Greenwood put them under pressure. Now England back on attack.
Johnson strong in the middle, leading. I think he's transferred the ball and now he becomes a dragger. He stays in there whilst he can and tries to add weight to that England maul.
Here's Dawson. It's looking very much like a replay of the 1991 final. England-Australia. The mother country with a 14-point advantage, as Wilkinson just pinning the French down inside their half. Rougeron.
Well, what is so good about this England side? They can adapt to any conditions. The conditions tonight haven't suited either side, but England have adapted to it a lot better than the French. And if it's a dry day next Saturday night here at Telstra Stadium, they'll have plan B.
Pardonnez-moi, Rougerie. No, Rougeron.
Well, as Gordon's schoolboy French is corrected, the problem gets worse for France. They've been forced to go back to the lines. It's playing into England's hands. They're snuffing them out close to the base of the set pieces.
A long road ahead for the French team now. They just need some magic. Great little kick though by Merceron. Jogion held on, and it's Merceron again. Thion to Rougerie. Olivier Mann arrived. Gaultier. England's foil. Catt is there. So to Poitrenaud. Tony Marsh has seen very little ball in this game. He's standing out on the left as Magne moves across, and Marsh in possession now. Passed nicely in front of Poitrenaud, and it's like a piece of soap. Lucy.
Well, Merceron's tried to lift the pace. They just can't get through this ball. So difficult to handle in these conditions under the attention of some heavy tackling. Marsh strong on his feet, but soft in his hands.
And the French, no doubt, feeling a little soft in the mind at the moment too. A dull ache as they look at that scoreboard at 21-7.
Well, the French have been the form side all through this World Cup, playing some enterprising rugby, but tonight the conditions just really haven't suited their play.
Very professional England team with their forward pack and the experience and the leadership in that pack having a sledgehammer effect on this French team. 13 minutes remaining, 21-7.
Well, their shores are only just over 40 k's apart, yet their rugby tonight has been poles apart. double the ruck and more wins and possession for England. Merceron sent on as the mercenary to get things started. And they have picked up the pace, but it may well be too late.
Dawson doesn't hold on. This is probably the last chance for France to salvage an unlikely victory, but it's just not going to happen for them. Manya knocking on as the defence was up in his face there. Mike Catt.
Well, there's English supporters from all over the parts of the UK, from the Cornish area, from Devon, all the way up through the Midlands to Newcastle. And won't they be pleased to be back here on Saturday night? There's still some time left for the French, but the English side have been very committed, keeping the ball tight and playing the ball down the other end of the field, and that's what's got them across the line tonight.
Mike Tyndall coming on for Mike Catt. So the Bath teammates exchange places. It's estimated that over 20,000 England fans have travelled to Australia, and Catt getting a raucous ovation from the England fans. And another drop ball. He lost it ahead, and the French are just bogged down in a deep trench at the moment.
Well, having Mike Catt on the field has really helped Jonny Wilkinson's game tonight. It's allowed Wilkinson to go back in the pocket for those 3 field goals. It's taken the pressure off his shoulders.
Good tackle, Delalio, to force that scrum, and then a great pick-up.
Tyndall taken low by Josian, and that's Neil back again. Dawson, Greenwood, straight onto the toe, and it was taken over the touchline there by Poitrenaud. Perfectly placed kick by Will Greenwood, formerly of the Preston Grasshoppers, who had a quirky little ritual of a sherry for each player before they took the field.
As Kieran Bracken in 20 jersey for England comes on to replace Matt Dawson, who got a fair head cut in the first half.
And there's also a little bit of concern from Jonny Wilkinson. He was down injured before, and interesting to see if he lasts the game as England play on quickly.
So Woodman taking that one at the front. Tyndall. He's back into Josian. Cohen. Merceron, the tackler. Knock on by back. Play really disintegrating as the rain gets heavier.
Fabien Pelouse with a blood streaming from a cut on his cheek. The engine room behind that front 3 for France.
England has scored 18 unanswered points after conceding a try, and no one can hold on to it.
Well, Richard Hill coming through, the number 6 for England, and putting the French player under enormous pressure. Labitte couldn't hold on, and Richard Hill coming back after only playing 40 minutes in this World Cup, back to play 80 minutes tonight for England.
Kieran Bracken taking the tap kick quickly. Tyndall sets it up 30 metres out. England looking to post a try now in the closing stages to really rub it in. Thion. Players all over the ground. It wasn't released by the French lock, and it's just agonising for Les Bleus. Wilkinson in another situation here where he can put it beyond doubt and make sure he boots his team through to the World Cup final. Wilkinson has elected to take a shot. It's 21-7.
Well, the feeling around the ground is we're going to the final, and you can see it's all through the boot of this man.
Bernard Laporte looks as though he's going to be facing the All Blacks on Thursday in the playoff for third. This one will surely torpedo France's aspirations in this game. Just over 8 minutes remaining. Wilkinson, all 24. Wilkinson 24, France 7. 21 points in a row for the young man after that try. And the England players now just controlling their exhilaration. Surely they can't be beaten from here.
Well, that unerring boot of Jonny Wilkinson has again put more pressure on the French, and you can't see England going expansive as they rain the balls downtown.
They've taken advantage of the following breeze in this second half. We have horizontal rain into the faces of the French team. Wilkinson back to Lucy. Lucy's kick, not a good one. Brusque spilling the ball in contact. Tyndall, advantage here for England. Tyndall with the fresh legs. Here comes Robinson, but lost ahead there by the replacement centre, Galtier. And Fabien Galtier, the 34-year-old veteran of 4 World Cups, has said if his side loses this game, it will be his last appearance.
It's as hard to hold on to in attack as it is in defence. The French losing it in the tackle, and Tyndall unable to grab a hold of it. Great work by the English front row to put that last bit of pressure on, so Haranadorki isn't got the free run.
No knock on by Cohen. Cohen doing plenty of talking, saying, give me support, as they move it inside the quarter. Jonny Wilkinson, a left foot snap. Well, are the handling skills of the players this bad? Or is it a statement about the ball when we get wet weather? I don't know, but the handling has been atrocious in these terrible conditions.
Well, 15 handling errors from both teams. Neither team's been separate from it. A look of satisfaction on Clive Woodward's face. Why wouldn't it? Been a long way. A lot of time and effort and dollars getting to this final.
Estimated at a £60 million campaign for England. They've achieved their goal inside the last 5 minutes. 17-point advantage. England players just geeing each other on now, and the French haven't been able to get outside their 22 of late. Front row coming up.
That's a binding issue in the front row. You've got to stay down. If you come up, can cause those neck injuries that we saw last night.
Wilkinson. Here come the chasers. Similar to the French try against New Zealand in the semi-final 4 years ago. Held up.
Great option for Jonny Wilkinson then. He had Tyndall on the fly. He's really got involved since he's come on, Tyndall. He was onside. He took the ball first and hoped that the men arrived to drive him over. But there were just more blue jerseys. They were desperate to keep him up. Look, lying underneath him and on top.
So are we watching the closing moments of a magnificent career of the French captain, Fabien Galtier there, number 9. Kneel back, met by Galtier. Another drop goal's on here, but Wilkinson elects to offload to Greenwood. Wilkinson losing, and advantage here for the French. Magna. No advantage there for France.
No advantage, blue.
Wilkinson initially losing the ball ahead. Just 3 minutes to go. And the French will be fronting up here next Thursday to face the All Blacks in the playoff, the main preliminary bout.
49 possessions, Jonny Wilkinson, to the French 19. Massive difference, and Wilkinson has done lots with it.
Gross attendance at matches in this Rugby World Cup. This is the 46th. 1.7 million fans have turned up at the games. This is a new World Cup record. It wasn't the spectacle the fans were hoping for, but it's music to the ears of the England fans, and Sweet Chariot, they've been in strong voice all the way through this second half, feeling very much at home in the conditions, no doubt.
Look at that nervous expectancy. Now they've got to start planning. Jason Leonard coming on for a little bit more time as Trevor Woodman comes off. Great effort tonight. They stood up in the front row for England. It was an opportunity for the French to attack them there.
And it's that man's opportunity for revenge from 91. He was in the World Cup final against Australia 12 years ago when the Wallabies won 12-6. And he'll certainly figure in the final next week as he enjoys a world record 112th international for his country, passing Philippe Salah, who was in the crowd tonight. Wilkinson. On the far side is Lucy and Robinson. Just over a minute remaining. Command performance by Jonny Wilkinson, this man. His kicking boot has destroyed any French hopes of a victory tonight. 3 drop goals and 5 penalties, and still the French are turned around with no answers.
You'd have to say Wilkinson 24, France 7. And these conditions were not to France's liking right from the start. They haven't been able to adjust in any way. Ball retention has been difficult. Line-out ball has been fractured. Scrum's been solid, but they haven't been able to advance it.
And Brusque, Ainley gaining about 15 metres. The countdown from this 82,000 plus crowd. 82,346. This is the last play of the day. Martin Johnson knocked ahead there by England. That is the end of the road for France. And next week, the England side will say it's revenge time as they face the Wallabies in a replay of the 1991 World Cup final. Jonny Wilkinson, all 24. 3 drops, 5 penalties. The French had a 7-3 lead early on, but Wilkinson absolutely destroying his opponents tonight. Terrible conditions, but England masters on the occasion. Final score, England 24, through to the final against the Wallabies. France to face New Zealand in the playoff for 3rd, 7.
Martin Johnson, congratulations. You've led your team to a World Cup final. Give me your verdict tonight.
Well, we had to have a performance, didn't we? We haven't played really, and we weren't happy to see the rain before the game. So neither team, both teams tried to play, but it was difficult. And you saw yesterday, it's about pressure, and Australia put New Zealand under a lot of pressure and got the win, and we did the same today. So we only conceded 1 score, and we were lucky he missed his kicks, but that's part of the game, and we pressured him. He was quite a young guy, and I thought our defence, and we didn't give away many penalties apart from myself in the first half. So it was just a great display, and we needed the passion, and forwards questioned ourselves before the game, and I think we came through.
Did you have to change your game plan when you arrived here tonight because of the conditions?
Yes and no. I think when the game started, actually, it dried up a bit. It was an early downpour. Then as it opened up, it rained throughout the end of the first and the second half. Yeah, I mean, we kicked the ball more today than we probably have done all tournament, but you've got to do it, and we forced them into mistakes, and both teams were trying to put the pressure on, but the second half was played mainly in their half, and Jonny kicked his goals. We'd like to have scored a try, but we didn't do it. But there you go, we're in the final.
You mentioned Jonny, imperious yet again.
Yeah, I mean, Christ, people said to him in the week, have you turned the corner, Jonny? For Christ's sake, he's the best fly half in the world. So, every team would want to have him, and I'm just glad he's on our team.
Well done, Martin. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.